We are celebrating. Oh, we're live right now. We are celebrating 1 year as a podcast. Dave, AJ, if you could start off this talk like we have a couple times before, just talking about the genesis of the podcast, and then get to me like when my part comes in.
Okay.
Start it off,
genesis
Dave.
of the podcast. That happened on a conversation me and AJ had at Chili's. This is how I remember it anyway. Although AJ will tell it 2 years before, I think that we did have a similar conversation. But I remember having a conversation like, hey, do you think we can do a podcast? And he said, I think so. And I think I was listening to the X-Pac 12360 at the 60 podcast at the time. And I saw an advertisement for the Anchor app. And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And then AJ had the wherewithal to at least know that, hey, we're not smart enough to edit anything or do anything like that. We should find someone to help produce this. And it was through our mutual friend, Joe Scott, who I believe recommended you should ask Joe. He'd definitely be into that. And then I think we started talking, and that's how we got from that point. AJ, that sound about right?
Sure. It sounds about right.
AJ's hiding from his wife right now, so we'll forgive him if he doesn't know everything that's going on. It's cool.
If you happen to see her, I wasn't here.
Right. But
my
don't know what
recollection is yeah, I remember the Chili's, definitely. I know we talked about it just the way you said. I believe my exact words were, hey, do you know a stoner that knows how to produce shit? And he said, I've got the guy for you.
Baby.
He said, I got the guy for you.
I definitely know stone most of the time.
No.
And the guy that brings zero personality to the show, but I try and mold the show. I try and keep us somewhat on track. I remember a tough early thing was we were going with indie wrestling with an edge.
Oh, yeah.
And we talked so much modern wrestling and high-level wrestling that it was almost less indie talk. And that was when I was like, guys, we either got to change the name or we got to change the focus of how we put this out. Right. And then we put together the name. What's that?
When we did the indie wrestling, the problem was we had two followers. We had Randy Ozga and some guy who liked to put porn up on his thing.
No, I think that was the
Jimmy Evans.
Yeah, Jimmy Evans. Shout out Jimmy Evans. I love cats too. That's great, man.
Yeah, he loved cats and porn, and it was a very weird 1-2 punch, but he was one of the early ones. And then I think he jumped off the bandwagon when we became working fans, which I still think it's a great name, but how much headache has it given us over the years with just when we're talking to people and they mishear it, it's always, oh, you guys are Working Man podcast? And it's like, well, no, it was inspired by that.
90% of like the audio drops I ask for in interviews are
okay, so I'll fill some space here because I'm not sure who can hear us and who can't. I see Dave's eyes blinking now, so maybe he's back to life.
I'm here. AJ, you
good. Did you guys freeze up for a little bit too?
No, just you.
Oh, that was weird because I actually could see myself, but you guys were frozen to me.
No. So
you look like Arn Anderson just getting pulled over. Like, damn, Rick, we're done.
The Horseman, shut it down. It's dead.
Damn it, Rick, put the kamikazes away.
Just abandon the Horseman. They're dead.
The sad part was I wasn't talking about the drinks. That's what he used to call the jumping bomb angels.
Oh, man, but we've never lost that edge that the original indie wrestling with an edge had. We have always talked wrestling. We have always put our kind of own spin on it. And then we started the podcast a year ago, right around when AEW kicked off. We started the same day as Arn.
Yeah.
What has the last year of podcasting been like for you guys? It's a lot more work than I expected a hobby to be, but it has been endless amounts of fun.
Well, the first thing that I learned from doing this is that A, we're much more popular than Iron. B, were much more entertaining than that schmuck Cody Rhodes. And C, I'm full of shit.
Yeah. Well, since Joe was asking about the podcast, since I'm actually on the podcast, Joe, I'll take care of that. AJ, you just relax. I'll field this one. I'm kidding. AJ's busy a lot, so he's not always on as much as we are. But man, it's a
you
wild
try
ride,
hiding
right?
from your wife.
It's a wild ride.
Actually, his wife's hiding from him, but we're not going to get into that.
We're interviewing guys.
I mean, I don't think she's watching.
Ricky Morton, Nikita Koloff, the Von Erich kids. You know, it's pretty exciting, right? I mean, it's kind of weird that this is almost becoming the norm a little bit. You know, like I just interviewed. We haven't aired it yet, but the Patriot Dale Wilkes, and I wasn't really particularly nervous for it or anything because we've been through this enough times now.
Yeah, that actually is going to be airing this same episode. But how weird is it that we used to be so nervous going into interviews, and now it's just like, who we got? You did some research, right?
I remember AJ was throwing up.
Yeah, that's me. The most nervous that I ever got for a interview, to be honest with you, was probably Nikita Koloff.
Yeah, when you get heroes like that are legends, that's scary. Like Ricky Morton, I couldn't imagine how you guys did that.
It wasn't easy. I mean, when you first talk to these guys and you realize that you're talking to somebody who was such a major part of your childhood, like Ricky Morton, it's just so hard the first time. Now we've gotten used to it, and Dave's overcome it because he's talked to some of his childhood heroes like Amber O'Neil and stuff like that. But
Amber Nova, you bitch.
Wait, wasn't Amber? Oh no, it's April O'Neil from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right?
Got me, Joe.
What wasn't April O'Neil the redheaded chick on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah, are you saying he interviewed a cartoon character?
Only late at night.
Let me tell you something about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Some good stuff.
He has slept with a couple cartoon characters, but
yeah,
back to the matter at hand.
Off her back. Just because she couldn't get off her back doesn't mean she was a turtle.
She's all right.
Now how weird is it that we found out through this podcast that we are three completely different people? We have three completely different sets of strengths and weaknesses. But when we come together,
trying to get that
we have
Diet
put together
Coke money.
some. Oh man, I was gonna take anything with I wasn't gonna sponsor nothing, but if you want to get Diet Coke, that's cool.
Just trying to get that money.
But I mean, back to what I was saying, like we're just so different, but somehow we form like Voltron, and we put out a product that has grown in popularity over the time we've put it out.
Those who, for a little behind the scenes, me and Dave have been best friends for what, almost 30 years now?
Yeah, almost.
Something like 26, 27, something like that.
Yeah.
A little bit older than Dave likes his women, but
yeah, I mean, I got time for these old hags. All right. I need some.
If she knows Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, she's too old for Dave.
Yeah.
I don't like the old hags either. That's why I'm hiding in the Jeep.
April O'Neil, who'd she ever put over?
Only Shredder.
Splinter.
But Amber Nova, by the way,
yeah.
I had an opportunity. I don't know how much of her work you've actually seen. I know this isn't what we're talking about right now, but I got to see her on some of the Impact Television Plus. They do a segment where they have Rise on there. So I've gotten to see some of her work on Rise from Florida. She's actually not bad in the ring. I mean, she looks a lot like Jungle Boy, but her work in the ring is not that bad.
Shout out to Jack Barry.
I'm not staring. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not staring at Jungle Boy's crotch the same way, but I mean, we've gotten to kind of off the rails, but guys,
you're not
we're celebrating
living in a tiny house. But anyway. But
I've had my fair share of mishaps this year. There was that one bitch. And, you know, my dad died
Shout
too,
out
but
to
fuck
the
that shit.
halfway house, though. Woo!
I like the fact that instead of doing the shout out to your dad, he did the shout out to the halfway house. That's awesome.
Well, no, Dave shouted out the halfway house. I brought up my dad kind of second because I was going to bring up my failures this year first, i.e. the halfway house check. And well, I mean, it's not really a success that my dad died, but I think the fact that we kept putting out the podcast and it suffered very little because of that. I mean, I think we did pretty good considering that we've made our rise during COVID. Maybe that's why we've been lucky enough to get as many guests as we have. But
so what you're saying is
mean,
thank you, China. Thank you,
China's
China.
dead, man. I don't know what she did.
Oh.
Who'd she ever put over?
X-Pac.
I'm sorry. R.I.P. Joni Lauer.
Now, we're on a network now, right? Let's segue, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're on a network, and Tim King is the president of that network, and he's going to buzz in anytime right now.
That's right.
And kind of do a little thing about everything
Wait a
entertainment.
minute. Shouldn't he be the king of the network?
He should be, but he got us. He's president. We're the motherfucking centerpiece. If everything entertainment was a wrestling belt, we'd be that center. No offense to anybody else on the network, but
crown jewel.
You guys haven't seen what we're putting out. And if Tim wants to come in and put us over at any point,
I'm married. I haven't seen anybody putting out.
Ooh.
Yeah, put my ass over.
It's fine. Both his and Dave's ex-wives will never see this.
No. Oh.
There's the man who just had a baby days ago. He has taken the time out of his schedule to put us out there and to kind of sit down with us for a minute and celebrate our 1 year. Tim, how you doing? Tell us what's going on with you.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on your show. I'm pumped to celebrate your 1 year anniversary and very excited to have you guys on All Everything Entertainment with us.
We're excited to be
now,
on it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, can you tell us first kind of how you sought us out and then tell us about All Everything Entertainment?
Yeah, of course, man. I saw you guys on Twitter, so I listened, checked you guys out, and I was like, oh, man, they got great wrestling knowledge. I love the 531. You guys cuss like sailors like we do, so that's huge. You know, that you fit in with my strategy right there. You guys are you're loud, abrasive, but you guys are fucking knowledgeable. So that's what I like. If you have personality and you're knowledgeable, I'm looking to recruit you and bring you on the team. We're looking to grow All Everything Entertainment like crazy. We've been around about 18 months now. The website has, and we have grown exponentially in the process. We just had our best post view day today, over 12,000 views. So that's another thing to celebrate. So, always celebrating. Huge days at All Everything Entertainment for sure. But, I'm really excited to have you guys on board, like I said.
Well, that's all. Hey, I'm happy to be on board, man. I'm glad you appreciate the swearing. So.
Yeah, normally.
Yeah, because when I put it up to Dave, when I put it up to Dave, Dave's two biggest worries were eventually if we wanted to move on, because we do have a goal that we would like to end on the MLW radio network down the road, but to be a part of a network now and be invited into something, we are putting our all behind it. And we were just worried, are they going to change us? Are we going to have to do anything different? And you said there would be no problem when the time comes we leave, and you like us doing things the way we do it, which is good because, I mean, I think Dave and AJ can attest that we can only really be ourselves. And
yeah,
I think that's our greatest strength when putting out a show. We talk wrestling, but we are real. And like me, I try and like to get a little arty. I like to include things a little outside of wrestling. AJ worked in the business, so he can bring that insider knowledge. And Dave will get most of our interviews. This is one of the few interviews I nailed down, but I would say 80% of the time, Dave is emailing people, chasing them down, doing what needs to be done.
I get a lot of the rats too.
Tim, I don't know what the fuck Joe's talking about. We're happy to be a part of this network. We're going to build this network up and we're going to whoop MLW's ass. I don't know what the hell he's talking about trying to make it do MLW. Why don't we build up and beat Court Bauer like he's never been beaten?
That's
quit trying to suck Court Bauer off
right there. Absolutely. and just like I told Joe, I'd love for you guys to get on MLW. That means you guys have stood out, and got on there. But my goal is, as you just said, I want to be, no disrespect to MLW Network, I want to be bigger than MLW Network, because not only do we have the greatest wrestling content around it, All Everything Entertainment, now we have about 9 wrestling podcasts, and it's not just American podcasts. They're not just WWE podcasts. They're not AEW based. We got WWE, AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, a shitload of independent wrestling content. Like, I would go out to say that our independent wrestling content will compete with anyone on the internet right now. We have feature pieces on guys like Warhorse, Benjamin Carter, Danhausen, and Sam Adonis, Danny Limelight. We've done interviews with Danny Limelight, Sam Adonis. We have an interview next Tuesday, I think with Travis Titan on next Tuesday. Gary from the main line, he covers that. He locks down these guys. He went to Warrior Wrestling the last 3 weekends. Fantastic.
Nice.
Love Warrior Wrestling out here in Chicago. They put on 3 amazing shows back to back to back. They were actually the first promotion to come back from the COVID. And they did it on the football field. They spaced everyone out 15 yards, and they put on a fucking awesome show. And they
I love what Warrior Wrestling's doing right now.
Yeah,
and to be honest with you, some people will hear the names like Sam Adonis, Warhorse, stuff of that nature, and they'll say, oh, these guys are the future of wrestling. I call bullshit on that. Those guys are the present of wrestling. Those guys are the guys who are going out there every night, selling their soul, beating their asses in the ring, and taking names at the same time. And they deserve the credit that they deserve, that they're getting right now, and even more. Screw what they're doing in the WWE. I got no problem with the people that enjoy watching sports entertainment, but God damn it, I grew up on wrestling. I didn't grow up on this pussy shit that they call sports entertainment. And I will stick by the strong style that they're doing in places like Warrior, that they're doing in, I just get fired up and I get excited. And God damn it, that's what we need in this country.
Raw Underground.
Yes. Oh,
Fuck
man,
Raw
I feel like he's
I
saying the
love
good pussies
I
in
love the
Chicago.
passion coming from you right now. I fucking love the passion, man. And you're right. These guys go out there every single night and bust their ass. Warhorse has defended the Independent Wrestling Championship like 46 fucking times all over the country and in other countries over the past year and a half. Or the past year since he won it. No, it's been like a year and a half now since he took it off of Orange Cassidy. Like, fucking crazy shit, dude. These guys are workhorses, and I want to grow as they grow. And
see, I gotta tell you, Warhorse reminds me a lot of Ric Flair in the old days, because he's able to go to whatever promotion that he goes to, and he's able to match styles and work with whoever the top wrestlers are. And it reminds me a lot of the old territory days, being able to actually function, work, and keep a high work rate, compared to these guys that are in the WWE and places like that, where you work with the same talent every week. You don't sharpen yourself. You don't have to put anybody else over. And I'll take Warhorse any day of the week.
Well, he looked fantastic against Cody on AEW television. He did look good there. But he was just at Synergy this past Saturday. We had a guy there, Frank Sarney, from the Lariat Pro Wrestling. He was there. He covered the event. You can check out the article on our website. Warhorse defended his independent wrestling title in the co-main event. And I mean, he was just in Chicago. Now he travels all the way up to Jersey. I mean, dude's a workhorse. I can talk about this all day long. And this is why diverse shows like what you guys bring, And now we got, our regularly scheduled hostilities, our flagship show, Wednesday Night War. We have the main line. We have so many good fucking wrestling shows that are diverse. And we got shows over in the UK, Scotland. But it's not just wrestling on All Everything Entertainment.
No, it's a cross-pollination.
Yeah, we have great sports content. We have great entertainment content. Whiskey Cinema Sunday nights is fucking hilarious, man. These guys dress up. They get all into it. And we have 26 different shows. We have shows about paranormal. We have true crime shows. We right now are branching out. We have so much diversity within the wrestling community and within sports and entertainment that we will blow up. 1 year from now, we will be having this conversation. I said we did 12,000 post views today on the site. I guarantee 1 year from now, 25,000 minimum at this exact time. And we are going to exponentially grow together.
I actually have a goal myself is to actually hit multiple shows. Me and Dave are going to have a casket match where I'm going to kill him. Then I'm going to go on the paranormal show where we actually raise his spirit and talk to him. And then I'm going to get arrested and put on the true crime show all in 1 week.
Dude,
I just want
that's
multiple
what the
paydays,
fuck I'm
brother.
talking
That's all
about,
I want.
baby.
I'm 100% going to get in on that cannabis legalization show whenever it happens. But
You're already on it.
Yeah, not on YouTube. We're keeping it clean for the people. But I got to ask you, the collective is coming to Chicago, if I'm correct, right? Or it's coming to the Illinois area. How are you feeling about getting that event block that was meant for WrestleMania weekend?
Yeah, man, that's gonna be awesome. I always try to get to as many shows as I can. Me and Melissa, I call her the first lady of All Everything Entertainment. We like to go to as many shows as we can, get out there. Obviously, she just had the baby, so we couldn't do any Warrior because the week before, the week of, and the week after, AAW is coming up. We're not going to be able to get to that. I'm going to try to get to the collective for sure. If not, Gary's going to be there either way. Gary hosts the main line. He is all about the independent wrestling life. So he'll be there either way. But the independent wrestling scene in Chicago is the absolute best in the country.
Yeah, we actually did a show recently about the bad wrestling cities, and Chicago took the top of the charts because no matter what the ration is, what year it is, that crowd is always off the hook. Yeah. Wrestlers talk endlessly about how the Chicago area, you get just such feedback. What is it like to be from that area and be part of that crowd?
Oh, man, it's fantastic. It is fantastic. I love going to shows for, I'm going to just talk about like going to like Raw and SmackDown pay-per-view shows. The CM Punk chants that just resonated through the crowd. I mean, it was years after. They're still screaming CM Punk. And not only that, but then I grew up in Berwyn. I was pretty upset that I didn't realize there was so much independent wrestling right there in that city. Like Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, when all these guys were on the independent circuit, they were like right there in this city. I moved out when I was 12. I didn't get into the independent scene until I was like 27, 28. I'm 35 now. So I could have had like all this fucking prime wrestling right in front of me, and I fucking missed it, and I'm so pissed about it. But the fans, the Chicago fans are fucking wild, dude. Yeah. They are wild. They are one of a kind. They're a certain breed, and they're fucking just passionate, awesome people now. There's a lot of wrestling fans that I dislike, but it's not the independent wrestling crowd. It's those fucking marks on Twitter who piss me the fuck off.
Social media in general can be so toxic anyway, right? Fucking
dude.
babies.
Well, you got
keyboard warriors
just to go fuck with you. You know what I mean? And it's fucking people are crazy now. But yeah.
And like you were saying, or somebody was saying earlier, the independents now are like the new territory system, and it's cool to see that some kind of new system is rising up underneath the majors.
No, yeah, it's fantastic, and these guys are getting their names out there.
What were you saying, AJ?
Yeah, the problem with the internet is that it enables these. No, I was just saying the problem with the internet is you get these trolls out there that are 5'3" with a club foot who've never done anything athletic in their life that all of a sudden are fucking wrestling geniuses that want to troll every freaking independent wrestler on the planet, give them a hard time instead of just getting out there and supporting the product and realizing that you can like this, I can like that, Dave can like whatever the hell carny shit he's into this week. Joe can like what he likes to have, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm right or you're right or he's right. It's a mixed bag, so we get to go out there and enjoy what we enjoy on a show. So screw the trolls.
Hey, if you disagree with me, you're a piece of shit.
And
Yeah,
this
I
is
don't.
kind of
I
one
never
thing.
understood why people can't like everything.
Yeah,
Like, I'll
right.
be honest with you. I love the WWE.
Yeah.
Now they piss me off a lot.
Sure.
So I call it. I call myself the best fan in the world because I can fucking see it right down the middle. I'll tell you if something's fucking stupid and it sucks. But I also am going to be the first fucking person to tell you they did a really good job booking that. Give them a chance. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, absolutely.
They just brought this out. How the fuck are you going to sit here and shit all over something that they just brought out? So, but I'll give it to you either way.
Well, look at what they.
Yeah, go ahead, AJ. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, look at what they did this weekend with Clash of Champions. They actually pulled it together tremendously with Clash Champions. What they're doing right now with Roman Reigns is absolutely amazing.
Love it.
They are really making Roman Reigns fresh, and whoever is writing this and booking this is a freaking genius right now.
It's coming off completely different than everything else too. Like it's funny. Like I love my AEW and NXT right now as far as like mainstream wrestling goes, but Roman, if you just put in a bubble when Roman and Paul are doing on SmackDown, like that's one of my favorite angles going right now. I love the way that's going.
Yeah, man. Let me tell you, I said after the match, and I've been all about. I'm a Roman Reigns
guys.
guy.
I'm going to be right back.
Yeah, cool. Sounds good, AJ. Yeah, man. I've always been a Roman Reigns guy. Love him. Really, really good in the ring.
Hello.
Yeah, AJ, why don't you go take that outside, brother?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out.
There you go.
I got him. There he goes.
I thought we were going to get an exclusive.
Man,
fuck you! I'm moving out!
I'm
We're
on
getting
my
a
mobile
divorce,
device, like I said. This fucking lawnmower keeps coming. I have to come in the house when he comes back.
I heard it. I was going to ask earlier, but hey, let's take a quick interlude. And Tim, do you have any questions for us? We've kind of been guiding the conversation. We've been asking anything. What do you want to know from us?
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, I've listened to a lot of the show, but obviously AJ likes old school wrestling. So I heard the Nikita Koloff talk earlier. So who are your top 5 wrestlers of all time? Like, what are your passions in wrestling right now?
All right, I'll take this one, Joe. I'm always ready to go with this. Top 5 for me: Bret Hart and HBK, that era, like right after the Hogan era, like Bret Hart and Shawn really kind of brought me back into wrestling. Flair, the Flair and Funk stuff from '89 is like one of my favorite all-time stuff in wrestling. And then I would have to say kind of tag teams, like the Steiner brothers are kind of like we count as one. I mean, I know Legion of Doom and the Rock and Roll, they're always the talk of the best teams, but I was a Steiner brothers guy. When Scott was throwing that Frankensteiner and suplexing people out of their boots, loved that. And then number 5, I've really started. You can ask me this at different times. It's gonna be a little different. But Dusty Rhodes, I've really gotten into the old with Dusty.
So you're more of a NWA WCW guy.
Probably, mostly, but it's funny because I grew up Rowdy Piper bashing the coconut in Jimmy Snuka's head. That's my earliest memory of wrestling.
How old are you?
43.
No way.
Yeah, drink a lot of water.
I thought you were like my age, like 35. All right. So you're a little older. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's how a lot of the ladies react too.
We don't. Unless they're asking for an ID, that's none of their damn business. We don't.
All right. So for me, I'm into Minoru Suzuki. I'm really into that New Japan style right now. I'm always going to be a Chris Benoit guy, and we've had this come up a couple times on the podcast about our appreciation of his career versus what happened those last few days of his life. I'm infatuated with Jushin Thunder Liger. since I first saw him, I couldn't get over the costume. And then I've seen him a few times in the last couple of years wrestle. And he is just an attribute to wrestling. I was a Hogan fan growing up. I've struggled with that over the years based on the situations that have happened with him publicly and just realizing that he's kind of a shitty wrestler when you get down to it. I've actually spent all of today watching All Japan 80s wrestling. So I'm going to give it up to Jumbo Furuta. I've been watching a lot of his stuff today. And I'm going to assume that's up to 4 people. I'm going to give the last spot to... I watch a whole lot of different stuff, but I'm going to say FTR right now. They've been doing something in All Elite that I've been waiting for them to really hit their mark. I feel like no matter how good they're presented, we haven't seen them 100% of what they could do. And I believe once they really enter that Four Horsemen, that new Four Horsemen stable, that could be the thing that puts them to the next stratosphere. AJ,
Well,
while you were gone, Tim asked a question of kind of the top 5 favorite things that we're into in wrestling right now. We gave our rundown, so what
I
are
thought it was all
5
time,
things that
so
currently?
yeah, all time, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
okay,
I think
yeah,
one. I think number one has to be the Black Scorpion.
I just watched it.
I thought it was gonna be goddamn George Heckenschmidt.
No, I don't go back that far. I mean, Gorgeous George was incredible. The way he used to throw those bobby pins to us, absolutely incredible. They were gold, you know. But probably my favorite things that are going on currently or ever, I think that the Funk and Flair in the late 80s is one of my all-time favorites. To me, that's the first I saw of what we call hardcore wrestling. Between the bag over the head and trying to pile drive them through a table, to me, that's the cusp and the beginning of hardcore wrestling. I love, as you guys know, I love Terry Funk. I think that he's one of the most underrated wrestlers of all time, and what he would do and give to an organization with his body and with the way he was working with young talent, absolutely incredible. So to me, that's one of the best gimmicks. I don't know how many you're listing off here, but I'll give you one more real quick. I think that another one that's very important to our generation and to our what is going on in the whole world of wrestling right now is actually the AEW itself. I know it's not an angle, but the way that they started it with All In and stuff of that nature and being able to grow it from the independents, grassroots, and getting 10,000 people to show up to the arena and being able to sell out and being able to really drive home their product by YouTube and by putting out these specials was absolutely incredible. And I know that's not really an angle. It has to be one of the most influential things that has happened in the last 20 years. And you're looking for 5 of them? Is that what I saw there,
Yep.
King Kong Bundy, with the 5 count?
All
right.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, another one is the Austin era. I think that him and Bret Hart, the original feud, is one of the biggest moments of all time, culminating obviously in the WrestleMania match with him bleeding out on the mat. I don't think if we have that match with him there and Shamrock as the referee and that working the way it is, I don't think we end up with wrestling going into the Attitude Era and with the Stone Cold Era being quite what it was. The other one's got to be the NWO. I think the NWO and what they meant to wrestling, absolutely phenomenal. And I think that Hogan turning at Bash at the Beach and heading the NWO has to be one of those big moments. And then the other thing is the Wrestle Kingdom shows. You can pick whichever one you want, but the fact of the matter is that every year they put on that monster show for a couple days and they put on a product that is second to none. And I think that that is one of the things that engages wrestling fans around the world and helps to grow the product.
Dude, so I want to hit on a couple of things that you just said. So first of all, I was at that WrestleMania 13 show with my grandpa.
Ah.
Bret Hart and Stone Cold fought right by us. Bret Hart actually whacked my grandpa on the shoulder as he was throwing a punch at Stone Cold. Fucking, you talk about a memory, dude. I just got goosebumps. My grandpa passed when I was like, when I turned 16. So, like, if ever I want to see him, I'll fucking put the WWE Network on. I'll fast forward to that particular spot. I'm like,
awesome.
Boom, dude. So
what I need to know is, did your grandfather sell it?
Dude, he did. You see him? He's like, ah. It was freaking. I laugh every time I see it. I'm like, ha, shit, that's awesome.
You were at Mania 13.
Mm-hmm.
Me and AJ were actually at Mania 14 in Boston. So
no shit, awesome, dude. Yeah, so that was the Steve Austin coronation against HBK.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fabulous. So then the other thing is, I want to ask you, because you hit on Austin and you hit on Hogan. So to me, those are the two greatest wrestlers of all time, solely because of what they did for the industry. You can say what you want about Hulk Hogan in the ring, kick, punch, body slam, leg drop, big boot, over, whatever. But the dude hulked up. The dude told a story. The dude was great on the promo. And what he did, all right, what he did by turning and being the third man, you actually believed back then that it could have been coming from WWE, because you had Hogan, the WWE guy, you had Nash, the Diesel, you had Scott Hall. So you could have actually believed that. So what Hogan did with the NWO and the way they kicked the shit out of WWE in the ratings until Austin then went and did his thing. Like, I just watched the first SmackDown on the network last night. I needed something to keep me up at like 2:30 in the morning while I was working, so I put shit on in the background. The pop that Austin got when they showed the film of him saving Stephanie from the Black Wedding with the fucking Undertaker, dude, it was just a SmackDown, but that pop was like 70,000 at WrestleMania. So who is, and all three of you can answer this, and then I'm going to pull up a couple of comments, but who is the greatest wrestler of all time to you guys? And who is more influential, Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan? And you guys can go around.
Yeah,
Dave.
I'll start it off. I'll say, I mean, as far as like in the ring, I mean, even Stone Cold at that time wasn't exactly a technician, but I will say Stone Cold was
shout out to Mike Bennett
in the ring.
Yeah, I just saw that too.
What's that?
Nah, Mike Bennett down below commenting on there.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, no, I'd have to say Stone Cold better in the ring. You know, it's funny. Stone Cold, that run, I don't think there was a better run, but prolonged.
Mm-hmm.
There's never been a better prolonged run in the industry than Hogan as a babyface. And then again, he redoes it as a heel all over again later on. So, you know, overall, I would have to say Hogan is going to take it as far as I'm concerned.
Well, Austin also never learned how to pose the way that Hogan could. You never really saw the double bicep. You never got the real flex in there. But Hogan definitely was able to develop as a wrestler. And you got to remember, he started off as a strong heel. That actually went tremendous for him. Then he evolved into Hulkamania, which went over huge for him. And then evolved again back into a heel, and a completely different heel than he was in his first heel run. So it's absolutely tremendous what Hogan was able to do over a 25-year span compared to, unfortunately, Steve Austin really only having a 4-year run.
Yeah.
Hey, what about when Cliff Burton stole his original job, though? He was supposed to be the bassist for Metallica. I'm sorry. That joke went over like me hitting on a girl on the first date. That shit was dead on arrival.
You can find that joke in a halfway house in Voluntown.
Oh man, they don't have halfway houses in Voluntown. They've just got hang trees, I guess. I don't know. They're behind the times. Yeah.
Oh man.
My all-time favorite wrestler, I gotta say, is Ric Flair. He was good on the mic. He was good on the ring. And what was that second question? I don't remember it.
We already talked about the second question. That was Austin versus Hogan.
Oh, Austin and Hogan?
It's deep here, so.
Well, Joe,
I gotta say that.
Joe, I got a question for you.
I gotta say that.
You said And you can go ahead and answer it, but then after that, tell me AEW, who would you want in the 4 horsemen group?
That's easily gonna be FTR. Got to do Sean Spears, and MJF's got to be the fair of that group.
Ugh,
I don't see, unless you bring in Eli Drake, there's no other centerpiece that makes sense in that group to me. Who do you see in that
how
group
do you
go?
Do you feel that Sean Spears could be the Paul Roma of that group?
Sean Spears should only be there
he's
if they do 5 guys.
Yeah.
He's obviously not the ideal
the best wrestler in his house.
But he started off with Tully. So if you have Sean, like, we've got Tully with FTR now. So if you bring in Sean Spears and kind of make that a group, and then make MJF take over his mouthpiece, I think that could compete the mid-level horsemen of the day. I don't know who would be a top-level horseman. You would have to switch out Sean Spears for Will Hobbs. I don't know. You would have some kind of up-and-comer that you wouldn't see in that role that would just blow people's minds.
Why not Cody, Hangman, or both of them, or one of them is the leader with FTR?
Yeah. I mean,
do you think that's what that dark hair is about right now?
Tim, you got to stop using logic. You're not going to get anywhere with this, sir.
Okay.
I do want to say
it's like that with him, huh?
When Joe mentioned Will Hobbs, I think you were probably thinking of like an enforcer muscle. And if we're gonna go with enforcer muscle, I'm blanking out on the name, but MJF's bodyguard.
Wardlow,
thank you. Yeah. I think he would.
Wardlow? See, I just didn't see him in it. I think he's been lucky enough to be MJF's guy at the moment.
All right, well let's get to this.
John
really
Suggs
quick.
is asking and answering his own questions.
Yeah, I saw that.
All right, so a couple other comments. Obviously, Michael Bennett, he said he went to WrestleMania in New York. That's fucking awesome, dude. Congrats on that. John Suggs, we had a show last night called the Retro Wrestling Podcast, where they talked about their top 10 singles wrestlers or wrestlers of all time. The one, David Chandler, the host, had Tully Blanchard is his best wrestler of all time, which I found perplexing. But John Suggs is a huge wrestling guy too, so he's all over Harley Race. Where do you guys feel that Harley should be? And then he asked the question, do you know who brought over the Road Warriors, Hogan, and Flair? And he said it was Vern Gagne. So
that's what I was
going to say, Vern Gagne, because I already saw the answer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
all right. First of all, if you don't mind, first off, Vern Gagne was a piece of trash. The man spent 50 years putting himself over all kinds of talent. Secondly,
no nursing home. He'll take you out as a ghost.
But let's go after Harley Race here. Harley Race, to me, has got to be in the top 5 of all time. You talk about a territory champion who could have a match with anybody. First of all, anybody who gets in the ring and tells Andre the Giant you're going up for a suplex and nobody can question it, it's got to be one of the toughest human beings on the planet. Secondly, like I said, he worked with everyone.
Yeah.
He was similar to Flair in the fact that he could have a great match with a wet napkin, for Christ's sakes, and make you look like a world-class athlete.
Watch those old Hogan Harley Race matches from the Saturday Night Main Event days where Race, even though he's older and past his prime, is bumping his ass off for Hogan. It looks like $1 million. It's just tremendous stuff.
Hey, Dave, how do you like Arcade 83?
Okay, that sucked. Right? And I always blame that on Gene Kiniski.
Fuck you. Fuck you. You're wrong. I hate to start swearing this late in the podcast, but
fuck that.
Tim, let him know he's wrong. Arcade 83 is an amazing piece of art.
I love Race, but watch that match. It doesn't hold up, and it's because Gene Kiniski's falling over the place like he's drunk or something. I don't know.
Okay, it's not like he was drunk. He was drunk.
I didn't ask you how Gene Kiniski was. Fuck Gene Kiniski.
Gene Kaniski.
Greatest referee of all time. Gene Kaniski.
Yeah,
Screw
you
you,
don't
Tommy
believe
Young.
anything.
He's the greatest piece of shit of all.
As a shoot, AJ texted me that night. You were right. Gene Kaniski fucked up the match. So we're going to call
He
it
did
like
fuck
this.
up the match.
Don't try to babyface here.
He texted you back in '83. What were you guys? No, you guys had to be 10 by that point.
No.
I was 7.
Yeah.
No.
I was going to be 7, but yes.
First of all, Tommy Young only gets more votes for greatest referee because he gives the best hand jobs. Secondly, freaking that card from top. If you want the best match on that card, pull yourself up, watch yourself some dog collar match between Greg Valentine and freaking Rowdy Piper and strap it on because that's going to be one of the best things you've ever seen. Those two beat the living hell out of one another, and it's what makes Starrcade better than WrestleMania.
I do want to say, I see in the comments, no love for Goldust. Absolutely got all kinds of love for Goldust, all right? Especially Dustin Rhodes right now, who's still performing just as good as anybody at his age.
If not better.
Yeah. He actually, that pay-per-view, which we all kind of agreed didn't really hit as well as we would have liked. Dustin, just giving a simple interview, how he was so excited to get a shot at the TNT title, was like one of my highlights on that pay-per-view. Just the old school promo. I don't know. I'm very, very happy to say Dustin's one of my low-key favorites. I don't know if he'd make my top 5, but he's a top 10, top 15 all-time guy.
Speaking of doing the job, you might not see my face so well because I have to start driving towards home so I don't get beat up.
You mean drive away from home?
Yeah. No. My wife drives me away from home.
All right, so we should probably start winding this up so AJ can get home safely. But I think we've kind of encapsulated last year together. And AJ, Dave, I don't always make it easy on you guys. I will forget shit. We come together, we make the thing happen. And Tim, we just want to help you build this thing bigger than it was when we got here. So we want to thank you for coming on tonight, especially so soon after having a baby. And thank you for having us on. And we only hope that we can knock this thing out of the park for you.
Now, wait a minute. I want to put out an invitation, too, because quite frankly, Tim, I've enjoyed talking to you, which most of the time I don't like talking to other people because they're morons. So anytime you want to come on the pod and talk wrestling or anytime you want us on any other pod, you just let us know. We'll be there for you.
100%.
As far as I'm concerned, this is a family that's growing together. We're going to do whatever we can to help the whole, what am I looking for? The whole conglomerate actually grow. So wherever you need us, we'll be there to work.
Dude, I love you guys. I love the attitude. I'd love to come on your show. I could talk wrestling with you guys all fucking day long and have some really, really good engaging conversation. Josh DeBoard, he hosts 3 shows for us, including our Wednesday Night War show, where he watches NXT and AEW along with Anthony DiSalvatore, who is fucking crazy, man. The guy screams. He goes nuts, dude. He marks out. It's fucking a great show. And then regularly scheduled Hostilities, our original wrestling show that we had on the network. He'd love to have you guys on there anytime. We're trying to, like you said, one big wrestling family, one big all-everything entertainment family. Joe hit it on the head earlier. This is all about individuality. It's all about you guys growing, helping us grow, us all growing together, and fucking doing the damn thing. Josh has been with us for like 6 months now. He was the original podcaster we recruited. The first question he asked me was, what's the catch? I said, there's no fucking catch. And he's been with me growing this thing for 6 months now, 26 podcasts later. But I'd want to come and talk wrestling with you guys, and we need to make that happen very soon.
100%. We want to do this often. We'd like to get in on more live shows. We're kind of growing our brand as we go. Like, we've just started growing on YouTube, putting up daily videos. This week, just today, we started dropping a bonus episode each week, Working Fans Present, where we just bring you an extra episode of something that we enjoy. And this week, we started with the Tape Trader's Guide to Pro Wrestling. My buddy JD Sloan down at WrestleTopia it's his podcast, and I just wanted to bring it to a bigger audience. So, Tim, thanks for coming on tonight, and we hope to do this again real soon.
Thank you guys so much for having me. It was an absolute pleasure to celebrate your 1-year anniversary with you guys. Thanks again.
Excellent. Thanks, guys. I'm out.
Thank you, guys.
Take care, guys. Have a great night.